The term just enough to be, sums up my place in the universe. My name is Bryce Langston. At 35, I've been trustworthy enough to get invited, but not so much that I'll be remembered. I developed the skill of working as a regional safety officer in the background, mostly unseen and quietly consistent. That theme is ideal for a logistics company inspector. I come in, audit the systems, fix any broken links, and then depart. Nobody remembers the man who averted tragedy. Nobody throws parties for the safety guy, just a nod maybe. I used to believe that was okay. Better to be quiet than cause a scene. But then I married Kendall Hartley. The Hartleys, they're the country club smiles kind of family, the type you see in magazine spreads about heritage and lawn care, group pictures with family crests engraved on Christmas cards and monogrammed outfits. But I wasn't brought up in that world. I come from a working-class family. We love to fix things with our hands, and I brought that with me. I thought the best way to win Kendall's love was to show up, to work hard, to support her people. For 6 years, I was the unseen scaffolding of their lives. On hot July days, I restored their air conditioners. I mended their flickering Christmas lights for family get-togethers. When her boyfriend cheated on her, I carried her sister Riley's massive couch up 2 flights of stairs. I even quietly covered the cost of a surprise baby shower when Cassidy, Kendall's older sister, forgot to plan anything. I assumed decency had a currency, but I never brought it up. I never asked for anything in return. I told myself service was its own reward, even if it came with no applause, but there's something eerie about always helping and never being seen. Like how Eleanor's laugh changed the moment I walked into Riley's room. She only ever called when she needed something lifted or a complicated technical explanation about how her father's home system worked. Howard Hartley, Mr. Hartley, used to say, "You're not one of us, Bryce, but you're trying." I always took it as a compliment. Now I see it wasn't. It was the night of Mr. Hartley's retirement celebration, held at Ridgeview Country Club. I came early to help set up the string lights, granite countertops, smooth jazz that made you forget your age. I made sure the projector worked for the slideshow Kendall's cousin had made. I even picked up 2 extra cases of wine that Kendall forgot to reorder. No one thanked me. Guests arrived. I watched as Riley, in a gold gown, laughed with her law firm colleagues. Cassidy showed off baby pictures. I stood by the drink table, nodding politely, answering questions about the lighting. Midway through, I gave a short toast. Nothing major. Just a few words about how Mr. Hartley hadn't just built a career, he'd built a legacy. It got a polite applause. Kendall leaned in, whispered, "That was sweet," then drifted into another conversation, one I wasn't part of. But what stayed with me was the seating chart, a laminated board by the door, names listed like a wedding. I looked, then looked again. My name wasn't there. I stared at it too long, hoping my name would somehow appear. That's when I heard Riley's voice behind me, talking about Kendall's charity case. Our eyes met. Her smirk flickered, then returned, unbothered. I stepped outside for air, wine glass in hand. The cold air bit at my collar, but it wasn't the temperature that made me freeze. It was the realization I didn't belong. Not just at the party, but in the family. Was a stand-in. A +1 with a credit card, a useful man when needed, and invisible the rest of the time. I didn't yell. I didn't make a scene. I stayed, helped clean up, loaded Kendall's trunk, drove home in silence while she laughed at inside jokes and scrolled through photos. That night, lying in bed next to the woman I married, I stared at the ceiling and whispered to myself, "Maybe they don't see you, because you were never meant to be seen." But I saw them, and that changed everything. It was one of those warm nights where the sky refuses to let go of the sun. I was in the background doing what I always did, keeping things running unnoticed. The air buzzed with laughter and wine and polished small talk. After my toast, Kendall gave me a kiss, brief, polite, then disappeared into another conversation. I stood on the patio, sparkling water in hand, watching the people from her father's old company mingle. I felt done, like I'd fulfilled an obligation. Then someone brought up the annual family cookout. Of course, the food, the guest list. Tradition ruled everything. I waited for Kendall to loop me in, to ask for help with chairs or food. She didn't. She said, "I got that bakery you all loved last Easter. I'll bring dessert." Then she added, "They've got that peach cobbler again?" Her voice was quiet, her gaze low. She swirled her drink and finally looked up and laughed. Not a warm laugh, a deflective one. "Oh, you weren't invited," like she was noting the weather. I blinked. "What?" She smiled. "It's kind of a close family thing." Riley, scrolling through her phone, snorted and showed me the screen. A program, slide deck, seating chart. My name wasn't on any of it. Kendall shrugged. "You know how Mom said she wanted things clean, as if I was the stain." I looked at her, hoping for guilt, shame, a flicker of regret. Nothing, just the same. Polished face she always wore around her family, a Hartley version of Kendall. I smiled, just barely, twitched enough to keep things civil. Didn't argue. Didn't beg. I placed my glass on the tray of flutes, stood up, brushed my pants, and walked to the door. No one stopped me. Behind me, the chatter resumed like I'd never been there. Lawn games, potato salad. Who was bringing what? I got in my car. Sat in silence. Not angry, not sad. Just hollow. And then it hit me. They had always made a decision. I just hadn't seen it. To them, I was a source. Labor, money, time. Not family, not a memory, not a story. And the best part? They forgot. Something. Not Kendall, not her mom, not Howard. I booked the venue for that cookout. I pulled out my phone. Opened the email. Invisible man with the bank account and the organizational skills. I scrolled, hit edit, canceled the catering, the equipment, the bounce house Riley insisted on. One by one, confirmation emails rolled in, and I laughed. Not cruelly, just softly, like a breeze through an open window. That night, I slept well, for the first time in years, not out of spite, but peace. The next morning, Kendall didn't ask if I was okay. At 11:31 a.m., she just messaged, "Bryce, what did you do?" I didn't reply. Then Eleanor messaged, "We were at the park. Everything's gone." I laughed, not out of malice, but because